I've always tried to think about exactly when I became interested in science, but I think I always have been. Um, I think since I was little, I was one of those kids who would, crawl around under the bushes looking for bugs and try and follow them and see where they go and what they do. I did always find mathematical sciences very interesting. I think what really reinforced my love of science was when I moved countries. I moved from Ukraine, where I was speaking purely Russian at the time, to India, and I was having to relearn English, which was my first language, but I sort of forgot it when I was in Ukraine. And I remember being at school and being set work to do. I think it was English literature or something, and all the kids put their heads down, started writing, and I was sitting there thinking, I don't know what I'm doing, because I didn't actually understand the question, I didn't understand the English, until we had a maths lesson, and then the questions were put in front of me, and I knew exactly what to do. And I think that first year, or was it the second year that was in India, that might have reinforced my love of science, because it was the subjects and the maths and the science was something that I found easy to follow, whereas I had to sort of learn the English to use it for history and geography and things like that. I think my dad, he didn't really talk about so much about what he did, but I think he did a degree in physics, possibly. He came from a fishing village in India, and was always very keen on education, and that's one of the things that I remember since I was little, that my sister and I, he would pay a lot of importance to, sometimes over and above other things. But my mum was the arty person. She taught us how to paint and draw, so we had a good balance, I think. But I think my dad was possibly my first role model in terms of education. It didn't really, so I mean, being Indian, he did, there is this sort of tradition of you either be a doctor or a lawyer, and I did have a little bit of that. So for a while I used to think I was going to be a medical doctor. I used to ask my parents for sciencey things. It was more that way around. I think I was interested, and they were happy that I was interested, so they encouraged it in that way. Outside of the family, I would say the teachers, the school teachers were very important. I loved my physics teacher in India, though I can't remember her name now. I think that's probably television as well. I think probably if I was to pick one particular film that really made me think, yes, I want to do that, it was Back to the Future. I wanted to be Doc. I really did. I wanted to have my own shed with all the stuff. I wanted to build a DeLorean. That's what I wanted to do. So I suppose I tended to love sci-fi sort of films, and I used to love painting. My mum was very good at painting and sewing and things like that. So I do have an arty streak as well, I think. I did for a while want to be a medical doctor. I used to be fascinated with surgery and things like that, and fixing things. I think it's not too far off from what I'm doing now, because the aspect of medicine that I liked was the fixing of things. And I do remember my secondary school science teacher here had a very big influence on me, because, well, mainly because I really enjoyed the subject, and I felt that I was always trying to ask that extra question, and he was always very good to indulge us, and not sort of just stick to the curriculum and that's beyond the scope of your lesson. He would always try and point us in the right direction and give us that little bit of extra information that made me ask more questions. And so I think I was very lucky in that whoever I came across along the way always encouraged me. There were I did have the odd comment from somebody who might say, well, why do you want to do physics at university? Why don't you do something, I don't know, because everybody, I went to a girls' school, and all the girls who did study, take up the science subjects at A level, did go on to sort of biological and chemical sciences, apart from me and my best friend, and we kind of, I suppose, stuck together, sort of bouncing off each other, saying, yes, we can do this, why can't we do this? And